Hi there, and welcome back to another episode of Empowering Empathy. We got Brian over there, and we got Mike here.
Hello, Mr.
How's it
Walker.
going? Hello.
How are you?
I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
Before we get into all that, though, let me remind everybody that Empowering Empathy is the show where we talk about the power of compassion, personal growth, and professional success. And now let's get into how you're doing. What's new?
We're doing pretty good. It's been a busy week, and it's only whatever day of the week it is right now. I can't remember at this point. But, yeah, it's going to be a fun week. Next week, the kids are in town, so I'm super excited about next week.
Yes.
Fall break for college.
Where are they? They're all off at school?
South Carolina, High State, all those different places.
Yeah.
Yep. You'll get there, bro. Right now, you're probably like, I just want a break from the kids.
No, I mean, we're having fun. We're deep in the throes of, baseball and basketball and conditioning. We got to go to the gym. He started this training program with some of his ball buddies that he's enjoying. He's like, I want to get faster and stronger, and I love playing sports.
Oh, yeah. That's just, at this age, they started getting into those separate clinics or the increasing your speed and your pitch strength and all that fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So fun stuff.
Indeed.
Yeah. So what are we talking about today?
So last week we talked about hiring managers.
Yeah.
And, the value of consultants versus full-timers and all that. But we want to change gears this week and talk a little bit about consultants. So got a few questions for you, but figured we'd start off kind of at the beginning and, kind of help out some of those folks that are getting into technology and IT. And specifically, like, let's say if I'm a graduate, I've got a specialty, or maybe I'm still figuring out what my specialty is, but should I go full-time? Should I go corporate? Should I try my hand at the consultant gig? And, where do I get started and all that kind of stuff?
That's
what
a great
would you
question.
advise?
Great question. I would say, and this holds true for people in information technology, also accounting and finance, also in engineering. There are several tracks you can take, either coming out of college or doing like a complete career change, going to a third-party training organization. Do I come out and do I go get a corporate job? Do I go get a consulting job? And my first response is consultants are usually held in regards to being subject matter experts. And it's kind of hard for a young person or less experienced person to be considered a subject matter expert in their space because they don't have that experience just yet. So if I were coaching my son or my daughter to get into IT, I would definitely say, first, try to go for that corporate gig, somewhere where it's a big enough shop to where you can gain an understanding of what a complex an IT department looks like. Not just small shops are great, but there's not a lot of you don't get a lot of access to different technologies, different approaches, different methodologies. So going for that big shop experience is very good. The problem with the corporate world these days is once you get to that mid-level manager, I guess, level, there's so much bureaucracy, politics, and all kinds of things involved that oftentimes it's navigating those waters once you get that. But once you get a core competency, whether it's in a particular technology or in a methodology or in an industry, then you have that in your back pocket. You can then go out into the consulting space. If you do decide that I want to try my shot at the consultant world, I would highly recommend picking one of the bigger shops. I would, where they have the training and development programs, the PwCs, the the TCSs, the Deloittes, Accentures, Oracle, all the big, large integrators. What they do is they have such a footprint in organizations that they go win the business from these corporations. They have all the methodologies and everything in place to where they can plug and play some of the less experienced folks into those. And that gives you some pretty good experience. Now, if you do want to go that space, there's probably going to be a lot of travel involved. So you got to have your traveling shoes on and be willing to live on the road for a while. But getting big shop consultant experience right off the bat isn't a bad way to go either. So I would avoid, candidly speaking, Golden Technology. We're a couple hundred consultants, and we're a great shop, but I don't think I would send my graduate kid to Golden. I would send them to Deloitte or Accenture or to P&G or Kroger or Fifth Third IT groups first to let them get the competencies.
Yeah, because it's wide open, right?
Yeah,
Kind of
yeah.
a lot more options open up.
That's right. And there's something to be said about like building up a 401k, getting some savings going, getting some retirement money going, teaching them how to save early on and not make the mistakes I made, which is I didn't start till I was later on in my career. So that would be my suggestion for people who are just entering the space, I think.
Okay, that's fair. So on the flip side, let's say I've been a full-time employee for most of my career, and I see all these folks that I'm working with in my department or in my industry that are, kind of hopping around, seem to be doing pretty well.
Yeah.
When or should I consider a consulting opportunity?
That's another great question. I would say that first of all, the grass is not always greener on the other side.
Of course.
And that goes both ways. There's a lot of consultants out there like, oh, I want a full-time job. I want to have a pension. I want to have a 401k. Well, there's not much stability in full-time jobs anymore these days. What I would say is that people who want to become consultants have got to be able to live with quite a bit of uncertainty. You have to have almost this entrepreneurial mindset that if I lost my job, I'm good enough to go find the next job. And you got to realize that you may be making more money, and you will make more money as a consultant typically. That you may have 3 months a year where you're not assigned into a job. And don't let these companies fool you. None of them, except for the big, large integrators, really can promise you that they will have their next assignment. So, you really want to consider whether or not you have the propensity, the budget, the finances to be able to handle work in 9 months, being off 3. And you have to have a skill set that is incredibly attractive. So you got to be, and the beauty about IT especially, and right now engineering too, you're hot commodities. So finding that next assignment is pretty easy. Easier than the norm, I guess. And so one is you got to be able to live with uncertainty, live in the chaos a little bit, being willing, one of the attributes that I have, and this is just doesn't sound modest, about being a successful entrepreneur is that I was very willing to take on the risk. You have to, a buddy of mine, I got friends that have been, a P&G'er for 25, 30 years. I got another friend that's a longtime executive in the corporate world of CPG space. They've always said to me, like, I don't think I have the guts to do what you did. And I've said, well, I don't think it's guts. Sometimes it's ignorance. Sometimes you just got to be ignorantly go. And I always told people, well, you know what? If I lost everything tomorrow, I think I've been given enough talents by my creator to go recreate it somewhere else. And that mentality is what has made me successful in the business world. And that's kind of the mentality that you have to have in the consultant space. And so if you're at a point, if you have like young kids or you're trying to, in that initial savings period, maybe not so much. But if you're ready to make the big bucks and go in the consultant space and you have that sense to go out into the uncertain world, go for it, because it's a lot of fun too. Because you do get to try different environments. You do learn technologies faster. You're not invited into the upper echelons of most corporations, into the executive meetings, but man, you're a guru in this space, that space, the other space, and you get to stay fresh with your skill sets. So that's the benefit of staying as a consultant is you're more advanced in the skill sets that make you more marketable.
Sure. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
So kind of further along that track, if I'm a seasoned consultant and I'm, regularly or on a certain cycle evaluating new opportunities, what are the things that I should be thinking about in order to truly evaluate each next opportunity?
Sure, absolutely. So we're talking about folks that are in the consulting space. Maybe they've been at the same assignment 6, 9, 12, 18 months, whatever. They're feeling a little stale. What do I look for in that next position? Again, I will say as the second ladder, the grass is not as greener on the other side as you think it is. There's always some warts on the faces of that other opportunity. but you have to truly weigh it out, like put it on a scale and write out the pros and cons for both of them. Some of the pros for a new opportunity would obviously be longevity. Longevity means, if I'm on an assignment for 18 months and I'm considering a 3-month project, may not look at that one. 6 months, okay, maybe. I'll also look at that company to see if that company, they may only hand out 6-month assignments, but people have been there for 2, 3, 4 years. So that longevity then is there. So longevity of the assignment, obviously dollars matter. So the hourly rate's got to be there. The next one is the company technology focused? Is the IT department seen as a necessary evil, or is the technology advancing their product or service that they're selling to the market? Do they invest in those organizations? I would go on to different sites like Glassdoor. I would go on. I would read reviews from other IT people. I would try to find other people that are working at that assignment. Now, that's the end client. Now you got to look also at the consulting company itself. So first of all, what culture vibe do you get from that consulting company? Are they focused on the individual? Are their core values about me and developing me, or am I just seen as a paycheck to this company? 2 are they embedded into my market to where if I do need another assignment, that they can help me find another assignment? Third thing is do they offer a package? A lot of these consulting companies will just give you an hourly rate, no benefits, nothing like that. Well, maybe you want a 401k. Maybe you want a matching 401k. Maybe you want health insurance and dental and vision and long-term, short-term disability, something that will provide for your family. Those are obviously attributes that you want to look at. And so it's a blend. I'd say 70%, 80% of your decision is on the end client. 20, 30% is a decision on the consulting company itself. And so then I would just, sit down and write out the pros and cons for both those opportunities and listen to the recruiters or the business development people of that company. They're going to try to sell you, obviously, but try to read between the lines. There's a lot of good people in our industry. And the other thing is look at the consulting company as far as its proximity. Is it just got a shell of a company, or is it got a brick and mortar location in my space, or is it offshore somewhere and they just have a mailing address here? Do some research on those companies. Ask the recruiter that you're talking to, or ask the account manager, is there someone that I can talk to that you've placed in this company before? Is there somebody doing my job right now at one of your client sites right now? Can I talk to them? If they're worth their salt, they should be able to pull people's names out and say, yeah, go talk to this person, and they'll be able to tell you what the assignment's all about. So just like anything, you got to do your due diligence. But at the end of the day, if you're already in consulting, you're already a bit of a risk taker. So I would just challenge you to do that, but do it with reservation to make sure that you're providing for your family appropriately. So yeah, I think those are my suggestions as far as the consulting group and whether or not to get into consulting. I don't know, Michael, you've seen enough consultants in consulting space. Do you see a personality difference between, I know I'm throwing this question at you on the cuff, but do you see a difference between the mentality of a consultant versus the mentality of, say, a full-time employee?
Maybe a little bit. I'm not as in the trenches as, say, the recruiters are, but, I would say that you kind of already touched on that, and it's more of a mindset of a individual that is a go-getter, that is a self-starter, that is determined to go out in the world and, make it happen regardless of the obstacles that might be in their way. Somebody that's going to figure it out. There's a lot of people in this world that, when they're presented with a challenge, it's like, I don't know if we can do that versus, there are people out there that, regardless of how ridiculous or huge the opportunity might be, it's like, okay, let's figure it out.
Right. Yeah. You have to be a problem solver. You have to be able to communicate business solutions to people, not just sit behind a desk and code Java.
Yeah. And flexibility, roll with the punches. You're going to have highs and lows, ups and downs.
That's right. I've been plenty of those. One last thing I thought about was contract to hire. whether or not to consider a contract to hire if I'm a consultant. So if I'm a full-time employee, I might get calls for contract to hire positions, and they're legitimate. What's nice about it is you get to try the company out as much as they're trying out you, but it is less certain than another full-time employee job. So things that you want to look for if you're considering a contract to hire position is one, does the end client do this on a regular basis? Do they actually transition the people from consulting to perm after a period of time, or is this a bit of a bait and switch? Also, does the company have a good blend between consultants and perm full-time employees? Is it 50-50, 70-30, or is it 80% consultants? Oftentimes what you need to be willing to do if you take a full-time a contract to hire position is you may get a 6-month contract to hire, but at the end of that 6 months, they may say, you know what, we don't have an open position for you as a full-time employee, but we want to extend your contract for 6 months. And we're hoping to have a position open up during that time. That happens a lot. So you have to be willing to take on that. You're probably making good money as an hourly basis as a contractor. So you're like, you know what, I'll take another 6 months at this hourly rate and I'll wait for it as long as I firmly believe it. Because they're not offending you because they didn't have a position open. Just like every other industry, they have their ebbs and flows of budgets and whether or not they have the opportunity to backfill a position, that kind of thing. So you got to be willing to ride that wave a little bit.
Sure. I got one more for you since I am charged over here at Golden with the marketing and branding. And since earlier in the conversation, you transparently said why you would not work with Golden Technology if you were a young up-and-comer, but let's say you're not. How about you give me a reason if you are a seasoned consultant why you would? Yeah. Why would you choose Golden?
So just a couple things. First of all, we are a company that truly cares for our consultants. You guys are not just a paycheck here. Our values and our mission statement is about empowering families with impactful opportunities. And so we take on our consultants as part of our family. We don't want to see them as just a short-term piece of the puzzle. And the way that we do that is we come around them with consultant care. We have a person that's solely responsible for the care and feeding of our consultants. They go out, make sure they're getting the right training, making sure that their job satisfaction is there. If they have issues with their manager, they help resolve those issues. But we envelop the person around completely. The other thing that we offer is we have a broad breadth of opportunities. We have consultants all over the world now. So for us to be able to come alongside of you and help fill you into the second or third position, we have a lot of opportunities nowadays. 10 years ago, we probably didn't have that, to be candid. But now we're getting to the point to where I've seen a lot of retreading of consultants in other opportunities. And the other thing is our clients, man, I would jump at some of my clients. Our clients have some of the best technology advanced opportunities. Most of our clients, a lot of our clients are on the cutting edge of the latest and greatest technology. So you're learning a ton from them. And also the last thing I would say is our recruiters and our BDMs, our business development managers, are very transparent about the opportunity. We know that for you, this is a life change. I mean, for us, it's a placement. We make some money. We keep our client happy. We surpass our client's expectations. But for you, you're uprooting and you're taking your entire life, the money that provides for your family, and we are putting that on the line. And so we're not going to oversell these positions to you. We're going to tell you all the warts that are on the face of that opportunity. And so transparency is very key. And even if you don't work with Golden, you have to really have that relationship with your recruiter so they can tell you how it is. Because if you're hearing all good stuff and no bad stuff about a client, they're probably not being honest with you. So those are some of the differences. And let me say, there's other models that Golden is getting into, and I think other companies. This is one model I forgot about. This is for our freshers. Kids are out of college, or just somebody, let's say you are doing a different industry and you decided to transfer over into IT or engineering or accounting. Is they have a build model, and we've developed a build model for some of our clients to where we'll take folks and we'll train and develop them for 30, 60 days, provide them to our client for 30, 60 days, at no to little costs. And then for another couple months, we go at like half cost. So our consultants really get 4-6 months under their belt, and the client's like, yes, this is affordable. I can pour into this person. So we have a build model, and then at the end of the 6 months, then we at least ask the client for 12 months to build that person, so we can get a return on investment of our initial our training and development. And then after 12 months, that client then can offer that consultant a full-time job and then go work for it. So it's a great way for, especially in markets like Cincinnati. Cincinnati does not have a ton of really hardcore technical people. We have a good share, but we need more. Every city needs more. So how do we do that? We build them. So I kind of take back what I said earlier. You can go to the little smaller shops, but you need to make sure that they have a development program for you as someone with less experience. So
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, yeah.
I think that's about it.
Yeah, that's about all the time we have for today. Hopefully this has been helpful for all you out there, you world-class technologists, you.
Yes.
But, we appreciate you joining us, and we'll be back next week with another engaging and exciting topic from Mr. Brian Marcum, the expert on all things Brian, and a couple other things too.
Yes, we're going to get Michael on this side of the camera one time.
What does that mean? I'm on the left, you're on the right.
Oh. I guess you're right. Hi, Mike.
Hi.
No,
Hi.
this way?
High five. Yeah.
This way?
Something like that. All right. Anyhow, we're getting out of here. We'll see you next week. Thanks for joining us. This has been Empowering Empathy, where we talk about the power of compassion, personal growth, and professional success. And we will see you next time. Thanks a lot.
Peace.